Okay, back again to continue the tutorials. We're going to dig into three-point editing a little bit more, and we are going to use those keyboard commands that I just went over in the last tutorial. This is going to help us do a really fast VOSOT. In fact, I will edit the VOSOT in about the 5 to 10 minutes it takes me to do this tutorial. So here's my Premiere Pro project. I just click it back open. I've got the Pennies for Patience B-roll. We already put one shot in there because I did that in the last tutorial. I got 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds of the opening shot here. Now I want to show the kids coming in the room, and I'm going to reach over into my bin and find that clip. And again, I could scroll through it here, but I just double click it, throws it into my source window, and it's going to let me see it in a much bigger fashion. So what I want to do is just mark in, get the kids walking through, and maybe get most of them to go through the shot. The girl in the pink there, that'll be the end of the shot. So again, I just JKL. First I want to set an in point. I'm going to mark it about, I'm Jing to go backwards. K is always pause. Let's mark in right there, and we'll play through it. Let's get the girl in the pink just as she crosses the frame, and she's out. Perfect. That's my out point. Notice how Premiere highlighted that work area. By the way, if I did want to change the in and out points, see where it turns into that red sort of almost claw or edge of the frame? I can click on that, grab it. See how it's changing the colored work area, that sort of aqua color? I can move the out point to another spot. Again, this is a lot of mousing around. I try not to do that, so I get it lined up. Pretty much I had it lined up where I wanted to begin with. So that's the in over here. There's the out. That's 2 of our points. For 3-point editing, we need a 3rd point. Now, if I make the edit right now, it's going to actually either insert the shot in front of this one, if I did an insert edit, or it's going to overwrite and cover up this shot. I don't want to cover this shot up. I want this shot to be first. I want this second shot to be right after it, right in this space. So see what I have to do is I got to drag this line, or not drag it. I'm going to give you another keyboard shortcut. Look over to your arrow up and your arrow down key. Arrow down advances to the next edit point in the sequence. I bounce back and forth. I hit the arrow up, goes to the front. Arrow down, arrow up. So the arrow down puts me at the end of the pennies, the first B-roll shot. Again, that becomes my new end point. So I have 1, 2, 3. I've got the 3 points marked. I could go so far as to actually type in an I, like just hit the I key right there, not type it in, but just hit I. And that establishes a more firm in point right there on the timeline. Again, 3 points to edit. What do I do now? I simply hit overwrite, and it's going to throw this second shot right after the first one. Again, remember the keys on the keyboard, so we're going to hit the period key, and there's the overwrite. So 1, 2. Notice how it throws that red line at the end of the shot? It assumes I want to keep going in kind of a linear fashion, shot after shot. So let's throw in another one. Let's go ahead and do that. Again, we're going to pick out another clip. Maybe the teacher kind of moving the pizza boxes around. So I'm going to JKL, back it up. What I want to get is she moves that box over to the, there it goes. She's going to move it over to the, and I just want that bit. I'm going to mark out, back it up. Mark in right before she grabs it. See where her hand is? And it's going to start there. Picks it up, slides the other box under it, and boom, we'll cut away right there. So there's my area that's been marked. I got about 3 seconds, 11 frames right there. Simple as that. There's my new in point, wherever the red line is. I can always type O or mark I right there in the timeline. So that marks a new in point. And I've got my in and out point set up here. Again, it's just from that little bit to where she grabs the pie. So we just put that into the sequence. Simple as that. And I've edited a new shot in 1, 2, 3. And again, I can scroll back and forth with the up and down arrows to get to the end or the middle. Let's put in one more shot after the pizza, and then I'm going to make a fix where I do an insert. Right now I'm doing overwrites, overwrite, overwrite. I'm just putting one shot after another in a simple fashion. I'm going to grab another shot of the kids coming in. This is a different angle, right? So let's J that. Let's go back, watch the kids come in. Okay, shot's a little wobbly. Okay, there's where I settle it. I'm going to get her through. And let's pick it up on this kid right here. So I'm going to advance it just a frame or 2 forward. What I'm doing now is hitting the arrow left and arrow right keys. Just next to your, on either side of your up and down, I've got left, right. So I'm going to left and right. And this is on the alphanumeric Mac keyboard. If you have the wireless keyboards, it may not have all of these arrow commands. But it's real handy if you do have them. So I'm going to mark in right there as that girl begins to appear. Play it. And after that girl gets through, we're going to mark the O. So there's my in and out. And again, I want it to cut right here. So I'm just going to hit the old overwrite, period. And we're rolling. We've got 15 seconds in our timeline. If you notice, the timeline number keeps growing as we add more shots. We've got 15 seconds. We need 20 for our voiceover. They've told us to put 20 seconds of video of the kids down and then lay in a SOT. So that's what the newscast wants. So we're going to give it to them. However, I'm going to make a little bit of a change. I decided that between these two shots, where the pizza gets laid down and the kid comes in, I want to cut in a shot in between those two. I wanted to add a shot, insert a shot between these two. So here we're going to do the insert edit. Back up my arrow. Again, I'm using the up-down arrows. Back to that edit point. I'm going to mark in. I really need to mark an in point. I tap I. There's my new in point on the timeline. Now I'm going to get the clip of the Coke bottles being opened. So we'll go pizza laid out, Coke opens, more kids come in. I think that's going to be a better sequence. And it's also what the script is talking about. So there we go. Teacher opens Coke. I have a nice close-up. Let's JKL. Again, just using my keyboard. I'm going to go right back to where she opens that. Oh, you're going to hear the hiss of the... right there. See how I can just scrub that? Okay. In. Boom, right as her hand comes out. I'll cut it off right there. So that's my in and out. I got about 4 seconds. I could even play that a little bit further. Let's back it up. Actually, right about there where her hand drops out. So now I have that marked. And this time, again, as I mentioned, we're going to insert it here. So I have 1 point in, 2, and 3. And all I need to do is make my insert. So I'm going to go back to the comma key. And when I hit comma, see what it did? It put teacher opens Coke right in between the others. So we go... Let's scroll over this way so you can see. When I scrub the timeline, we see those shots up here. So as I play it, pizza, then it's going to go to the Coke, then the kids come back in. All right, there we go. So, and I've got I've got 18 seconds. I could throw one more quick shot in there before my SOT. So let's just go back to that last edit point. One more shot. What do we have here? How about back to the wide shot here? She's already opened the Coke, so I'm going to pull that one up. And that's going to be the shot before the SOT. And there's a kid. Oh, there's a guy walking across. Perfect. We'll get this guy walking across the shot. There he goes, in and out. Oh, perfect. And we'll cut that down. Now, this is just going to be a simple overwrite. I'm going to drop it right in this open space to the right. All right, I got 21 seconds. That's going to be close enough for our VOSOT, just in case they don't roll exactly on time. So simply from here, all I do is go find a SOT, and I'll just cut that in the timeline. Remember, I've got another bin with my teacher SOT, so we'll go up here. There's my project. There's my SOTs bin. I double-click it, and now my SOT pops up. Let's show that as an icon. There she is. Double-click it, throw it into the source, and let's listen.
People in the world.
Now, I've already gone ahead and marked this clip. I was playing around with it earlier.
There are some kids who
she starts out by saying, there are some kids who don't have much.
don't have a choice.
And so we're going to take that. There's about 8 or 9 seconds. Good soundbite.
But they still need help. And kids helping kids is what this is all about.
Perfect. Kids helping kids is what it's all about. Nice little 8-second, almost 9-second SOT. So I'm just going to pull back. And all I have to do now is I've got in, out, 2 points. There's my third mark or my third point, and I can just cut that right in. So there, I've done a VOSOT. In just that short amount of time, about 10 minutes, I've quickly walked through shot, 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 and then a soundbite. I can hit home on the keyboard. Another important keystroke is just the home key. Home puts me right back to the beginning, and then I can play through it. So the anchor would be reading the script, talking about the pizza party. The kids raised a bunch of money for the leukemia patients. And they're going to get pizza, they're going to get sodas. Good time had by all. So we're just cutting this together. The anchor's been reading it on the air. And then the anchor will be quiet, and the SOT will pop up.
Some kids who don't have a choice about their health, but they still need help. And kids helping kids is what this is all about.
The last thing I want to do is have a little extra on her. So watch what I'm going to do. A little cheat ahead to the next future tutorials. I'm going to drag out a trim on the edge, a few extra seconds, because I want padding. And then what I'm going to do is insert keyframes on there so that I can drop the volume down. And I'll show you how to do that in a later tutorial where you have a SOT going and then you want to drop the volume. You can mark a keyframe and then lower the volume. But for now, that's going to wrap up this tutorial. Again, keyboard shortcuts and quick editing, you can do it. You just got to get used to all the functions and know where you are in the workspace, and it's going to go quite well for you.